I've get me some Gaviscon. Wednesday 4, Burton 2. Let's have a quick look at how the opposition lined up on their visit to Hillsborough. Burton Albion went with a 4-2-3-1. Garrett in goal, back four of Hamer, Hughes, Mariappa and Osalaja, who you might remember once had a long spell at Wednesday. Butcher and Taylor in front of the back four. An attacking midfield three of Smith, Onyango and Powell. And up front, Adebayo. Fucking hell, I got it right. A lot of changes in the Wednesday lineup as well today. Wednesday made changes for the game. Michael Ehekwe out suspended, and of course terrible injury to Ben Hennigan. So we went with the back four today. So it's Stockdale in net, Palmer, Rickle for Iorford at centre back, McGuinness and Marvin Johnson at left back. Changes also in midfield. Josh Windass drops out from the number 10 role, replaced with Backinson playing in front of the back four. So the midfield, Delabishiru, Backinson and Bannon. And more changes again up front. Malik Wilkes brought in onto the right hand side. Michael Smith on his own up front. And Callum Patterson, probably the surprise choice, coming in on the left. Now before kick-off, there was a lot of mumping when that team was announced. Don't particularly know why that much. I mean, calls for Byers to start, and I can understand that. I thought he had a very good game in the week, although he had just missed a week, so they might have had one eye on that. But with Hennigan being out and Ehekwe being suspended, it made full sense to me to go to a back four. And I've got to be honest, when I saw we were going to be playing with a back four, I was really pleased. And, you know, Iorfa's not had the best time of it this season at all, by any stretch of imagination. But I would rather play a centre-half at centre-half than a left winger at centre-half or a left-back at centre-half. So, flat back four, to me, made perfect sense. And I do feel like Iorfa's a better centre-half in a flat back four. In a three, when you've got all that expanse to right-hand side here, should I be out there, should I be in here, are we zonal marking, what are we doing? Every kid in this country who's comes through as a defender at some stage, in fact probably most of the time has played in a back four, they know what they're doing. You've got somebody to the left here, you've got a full back to the side here, you've got a smaller area to look after, you know what you're doing. So when I saw Iorfa's back in, a proper set at half, playing at centre half in a four, I was happy with that. Changes in midfield as well, and I've got to be honest, before kick-off I actually thought we'd see Backinson or Volks today. My money would on Volks, but I'd got a feeling we'd put somebody there to sit in front of the back four, because midweek against Bristol, Wednesday were outnumbered in there, frankly, and it was a bit of a milky display. Bannon and Byers, they were getting through the work, but they were outnumbered, and because of the poor passing out from the back by Wednesday's back three, they were having to drop deeper and deeper to receive the ball and make those passes shorter distances for it to travel, because it was getting cut out a lot. So fully understandable that we put somebody in there in front of the back four, give it a shield, but also somebody receive at a closer distance and get things going, but still allowing the likes of Bannon to get on and push forward into them dangerous areas is good in. Delabishiru in for Byers. I know one or two people not happy with that, but Byers had been out, came back in. I thought he would probably our busiest player against Bristol, and I could sort of understand they might not want to give him too much too soon, although he did have I thought he was one of the best players on pitch in midweek. The real surprises probably is up front. Gregory's just got back amongst the goals. Wilkes hasn't really shown much so far for Wednesday, but with the back four, I don't think they were going to risk going a 4-4-2 and losing that central midfield ground again. So as soon as it was a back four, it was always going to be one up front. And that's the thing, one up front. We always talk about one up front, especially when we don't like the manager. We always talk about the one up front as being a negative thing, the one up front. But when it's done right, it can be three up front. And today there were several times when Patterson and Wilkes really got involved. We talked about it last season when we started with a 4-3-3 and we'd got Saul, Corbino and Shadipo in those wide areas. They weren't getting in and supporting Gregory, they were just staying really wide. These two today playing on, the inside out for the most part, they were getting in and making that second striker, and it makes all the difference. And of course the main key is in Michael Smith, we've actually got a centre forward who can play that role. He can play that focal point centre forward on his Todd. So when I saw the team, I thought, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Stable back four, people who's played them positions before, which is vital in a defence. They all know what they're doing. Gives you that solid base. Somebody sat in front, allowing you two attacking midfielders to go and join in up front and do what they do best. A big, powerful centre forward and two wide lads who have nicked goals in their careers, so I'm quite happy with it. I mean, it pissed it down last night, didn't it? It absolutely pissed it down all night, and it was a slick surface. Wednesday, obviously, I've been told don't fanny about at back as much because in midweek, Bristol never looked as dangerous as when we'd got ball at back, you know. A Hegway, who I like, by the way, and I think he's been a rock this season so far. Probably his worst game for the club, and most of that was when he was in possession. His heading work and his tackling work, and it still didn't think were too bad. So, obviously, Wednesday being told, first 10 minutes especially, don't fanny about, let's get it away from our box. Because of the rain overnight, though, on the slick pitch, we were putting too many straight balls. And straight balls on slick pitch just bouncing out, or people can't get on end of them. You know, even Linford Christie won't get on end of them. So, took us a while to settle. Scrappy. They played the part, Burton. They were getting a foot in quick. And there was that combination in midfield. There was a 3 against a 3, albeit slightly different shapes. But the Oyango, I think it was, their lad, he were dropping off the striker and he were helping to make a 3 in there for them. So a very scrappy midfield game, especially that opening 20 minute. Once they start to get into gear a little bit, probably 15-minute mark, and they start having 1 or 2 attacks and starting to probe a bit more. Patterson working really hard down that left-hand side. Like I said, a bit of a surprise inclusion on that side, but he's played all over Park for Wednesday and he's always given his all, so maybe not that big a surprise. Johnson had a shot that he just flashed over at Bard. He just couldn't quite get over it on bounce. And a minute later, we take the lead from Bannon. It's a really nice goal. It's a fantastic finish from Bannon, but it's a nice goal anyway. And Bannon and Derbyshire play a lovely little 1-2. And I was watching the game with my dad today. And he'd said about 2 minutes before that, he said, what I've liked this season when I've seen them two is, he said, they link really well. You've got the elder statesman and the young kid. He said, but somehow they've just got that little bit of understanding and they do link nicely. And that was the case. Powerful run from Derbyshire. Little 1-2 with Bannon. The ball gets squared out to Backinson. Sweeps a low strike and Bannon's in there. Gets the rebound, turns his man, and it's a really good finish because he's falling backwards, he's falling over it, but he curls it round. It's a lovely goal, and it just gives Wednesday that bit of impetus. More or less straight from the centre, we're back at him again, and Wednesday's having a little spell. He had a lovely ball from Backinson, rangy pass after McGuinness has won a tackle. He's had a very good game again. Ball over to and Wilkes is showing pace that I don't think we've seen so far from him, and he's got the burners on and it looks like he's going to lose their lad, and as their lad turns to track him, the ball comes down and it hits his heel and gets cleared away. He knew absolutely nothing about it. Just a little bit fortuitous there by their defender, but Wednesday just turning the screw a little bit. Seconds later, that's all forgotten because Wednesday get a penalty. Can he get out of the way? If it hits your hand, it's a penalty. That's the new thing, innit? All this deliberate and all that seems to be out at window. I don't think it's as good a shout as one we actually had against Bristol Rovers, which I thought was a lot more obvious. But we've got it. It come from good play with Wilkes and Bannon. Again, little 1-2s around the edge of the box. And that's where I like this formation. I know the beginning of the season we were playing Bannon in what you'd probably say a proper number 10 role off the strikers. I weren't particularly a fan of that. I think when he's that far forward, he's having to spend some time with his back to goal, which I don't really think suits him. Against Bristol, too deep. I know he wants to drop and receive the ball and get the passes going out from the back. I don't particularly like him there or there. I do like him in that proper midfield spot, because from there he can charge in and join the attack rather than being advanced of the attack and coming to receive it. Good 1-2 link play with him and Wilkes. It comes up on its defenders, and I think it's an harsh penalty. I mean, you'll take it all day long, but if that's at the other end, I'd be a bit pissed off, to be honest with you, but that's modern football. Michael Smith steps up, and you don't stop them. That's a great penalty. Right into the corner. Keeper goes right way as well, but he's that much power on it. It's a really confident penalty. 2-0 Wednesday. It's not been a great game, but Wednesday have just been turning its screw a little bit as we got to that half an hour mark, and I think they probably deserved it. Patson's lively. He's not a left winger. Mind you, we've also said he's not a striker, he's not a right back, he's not I still don't think we know what he is, but I'll tell you one thing that he is. He's a right fucking busy bastard. And sometimes in games, that's what you need. You've got to earn the right to play, and he's put a right shift in today. In fact, he caught keeper offline. He had him backpedaling that Garrett with a sort of curler coming inside off at left from about 25 yards. He probably deserved a goal. And then 2 minutes after that, he wins as a corner, and it's an absolutely nothing ball. But through hard work, determination, and just desire to get down there, he hammers right into the corner, puts kid off, and we get a corner from absolutely nothing. It was sort of ball that you'd half turning away, but he's made it into a ball by getting after it. And there's no replacement for hard work. There really isn't. Marvin Johnson's playing at left full back, not his natural position, but he did a job for us there last season, and I've got to say, I do think I preferred him as a full back or a winger rather than a wing back. I think when he's got all that in front of him and all that behind him, I think he can get caught in two minds. Do I go, do I stay? If you do go and you get caught out, everyone's on your back, but but when he's out there and he's got somebody in front of him, I think he's an half decent left back. And equally, when he's got somebody behind him, he ended up with Palmer behind him towards the end of the game. Again, I think he looks a different player. He made a very good header, a defensive header. Cross came into the box from their lad down left hand side. I think it's Powell. Takes an awkward bounce. It's coming up, and their lad's coming right in there, number 7. He's swinging leg back to pull trigger as it's coming over, and Johnson just gets enough of a back header on it to put it behind him for a throw-in. Don't think he's best in world in air, but vital header there. Did really well to get up for it, because you're never quite sure what's happening behind you, so I thought he did really well there. 2-0, but atmosphere's a bit flat. I personally, I don't think it's ever been the same since Premier League and all seats going in and fans getting split up all over the ground. You know what I mean? At one time, all singing really come from Cop, didn't it? But all seats went in, and I think folks were a bit like, well, if I'm paying this much, I may as well not have a pillar in my way. So folks that end at South Stand at one time, and then folks that end at North, and it's all got a bit. And I just think there's a bit of lethargy as well in fan base at minute. I don't know what it is. It's hard to explain. I mean, we're third in table. I think we've scored more goals than any team in country. But they just sometimes does seem to be this almost apathy, which maybe it's not that. Maybe it's. Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's probably been out at top flight for 20 odd years. I think it's just getting everybody down. And folks don't want to be in this division. But Wednesday are 2 goals to good, and they come out second half and they carry on really where they left off. 52 minutes, 3-0, and it's great play again by Patterson. Really strong, gets a good chest and it turns, bangs a great ball out to far side to Smith. It's an absolutely fantastic pass. He links with Baz, who just knocks a little ball into Wilkes. It's a good touch actually from Wilkes, because it's ever so slightly sort of underneath him, almost behind him, underneath him. Touches it out. Great curling effort with left foot, fantastic strike. And when we've seen his highlights packages from his previous clubs, that sort of goals that he scores, that sort of goals he's capable of, and it's not really worked from him so far, but takes time for people to settle in a club, you know. New city, new teammates, maybe a new style of play that you're not used to. Obviously, as well as being in and out of the side, which don't help. And of course, there's getting proper match fitness. I mean, footballers are fit, they're training every day, but there's a difference between being fit and being match fit and match sharp. And he actually went down with cramp at one point in second half, which I think probably proves the point. 2 games in a week. Thought he looked a bit off the pace, if I'm honest, against Bristol Rovers, but today I think we saw more of those flashes from him of what is potentially to come. And that's another thing with his system that we saw today. There was a lot of talk when we signed him. Why we're signing an out-and-out winger come striker when we play 3-5-2? But Moore said all along we're not always going to play 3-5-2, and I think this system today is exactly the sort of formation that Moore were probably thinking about when he signed him. So 3-0 down, Burton, their manager makes some changes, he's jumping about on touchline, and they go to a 4-4-2. They try and they haven't really been getting any support to their striker. Now he's got a decent record, actually. I think he's got like 9 goals in 16 games, but he's been properly dealt with by Wednesday's centre-backs today. And that's what I talk about with Iorfa. He's looked a different player today in a back 4. He's got Palmer out here, he's got McGuinness here. The shorter distances, there's not as much space to get lost. So I thought he had a decent game. He loses his man later on for a goal, but I think you've got to give credit, it's a good goal. But there forward, he's got no change. Mainly from McGuinness, but I offer as well. McGuinness has had him on toast, really. He's good in the air, and he's really stepped to the plate because Heckway's been a bit of a rock, wobbling the last game and suspended today. Hennigan's now been ruled out with his knee. He's been playing out on that left-hand side of a 3, been playing well, but today in that middle, again, same as I offer, in that central band, if you like, the width of the post, defending that. Fantastic game. So they've changed, gone 4-4-2, try and do something a little bit different and probably get a consolation goal. They're doing all right, Burton. I mean, they're not a great side, but they are making a go of it. They're getting a foot in, and in little patches they're playing a bit of football. Me and my old man were talking. We're all having a bit of a mump and a moan, and you know we don't like the 3rd division, and I keep hearing people say, oh, it's as shit a league as it can be, and it's worst it's been for years, and this and other. But I think back to 3rd division when I was younger. This is not like 3rd division when I was younger. When I was 20, 21, the 3rd division was proper shit. Now Wednesday were in Premier League then, but I got a mate who supported the 3rd division team. And now and again, you know, if Wednesday were miles away, Newcastle or whatever, or if we'd be working, if his team were playing locally, we weren't a Yorkshire team, he might have said to me, oh, do you want to come with me? Marlot's down at Millmore, or we're playing Chesterfield or whatever. And I went to a few of them, and I've got to tell you, the 3rd division then was utter shite. And this has been not a great game today. It's not been a great game. Not flowing football. But both teams have tried to get it down and play at times. The pitches are better, the players are fitter. I think there's a better quality of player. I compare this to 3rd division football I saw 20, 30 years ago, and it's a different level entirely. It really is. That was proper shit. I mean, a lot of people watching might not have been born then, but it was fucking Sunday League. It really was. All you ever saw were fullbacks get ball and Hadwick at centre forward and centre half head it out for a throw. And goalkeeper catch it and boot it straight down pitch. In crumbling, rickety old stadiums, we were poor. I'm moaning about 30-year-old football now, but that's just the point I'm making. Burton were trying to play some nice stuff as well. Probably their best player today, that lad called Smith. Apparently he can play off the left-hand side, but he was playing off the right today. He had a shot straight down Stockdale's neck, didn't really test him. Probably a minute later he had an header, which were well blocked on line by McGuinness, who again has had a terrific game. But they give it a go. They give it a go, even at 3-0 down, so fair play to him for that. A minute after that, our Smith has an header, which is blocked on line. It's some real desperado defending from them. Delabishudo gets in there, there's a right old scramble in there, Patterson's in there, and it's we probably should get a fourth there, but fair play to them, they've got about 6 bodies online, and at 3-0 down, it's easy to give up ghost, in it. It's easy to, okay, let's think about next week, let's think about next match. But to be fair, they were in there and getting stuck in and trying to make sure we didn't get any more goals. Bannon had gone down about 10-15 minutes before. They got a cut, not going with a free kick out on right hand side, our left. Ball in box, and just out of nothing, Bannon just went down. Obviously, physio's on, and you'd open it's not his knee, I don't like that. And it's got him on his belly and giving him a bit of a massage and back at hamstring, so obviously that was a bit tight. And that's when Darren Moore made some, common sense substitutions. I was critical of more substitutions against Plymouth away. I thought they were possibly cost us the game, actually. It's certainly a point. Thought he got it spot on today. Game was sound. Bannon's had a bit of no point risking him. So he's off. Byers is on. I like George Byers anyway. I like the way he uses the ball. But again, common sense with him. Put in a huge shift in the week. Probably busiest player on park. Little bit of a rest because he had been out. He comes on for Bannon. Probably in terms of time on the pitch, I think both those players have been managed effectively there in terms of their output and the strain. Patterson hits bar. I felt for him, looping at it. I felt for him because he deserved a goal today. He's put a great shift in Patterson. But it comes from some really nice link play. Little triangle down right hand side. Delibishiro, Palmer, Wilkes. They just work it, get the cross in. He gets up, powers above his man, flattens him really. Comes back off bar. On Wednesday, you can say it's not a vintage performance, but we're creating opportunities, we're creating chances whilst looking solid at the back. Well, till last 10 minutes anyway. They have a little chance, ball gets cleared, and Wilkes shows the sort of pace that will terrify any defender. He's absolutely heading after it, and he's burning up the ground. And he's clearly going to get there before their lad. And as he's going past him, it's just a little bit of sort of shoulder to shoulder, and referee gives a free kick but it's never been a free kick in a million years. And I always think this with referees. He's got pace to burn. He's clearly going to outrun that kid. He's clearly going to get to ball first. No danger. So why would he possibly foul him on way past? You won't. You just won't do it. You know you're going to get there first. Referee's got that one totally wrong. But maybe he's evening things up a bit because he would have been away 1v1. So maybe he's evening it up for that penalty in first half that he might have thought was harsh. But I don't know what he thinks he saw. 4-0, Burton, play ball forward, George Byers, reads it brilliantly, great interception, first time pass, outside at Burton to Patterson, and it's a great ball from Patterson, first time ball, don't even look, he's already had a look before balls come, so it comes into him from Byers, and he just sweeps it right out there to Wilkes on far side. He dances inside his man, little square ball, and really nice finish from Delibishiro. I mean, we know he's got an absolute blockbuster of a shot, but this one, just side foots, just sweeps it home, and it's a great counter-attacking move. As I said, they'd about 20 minutes before made a change and gone 4-4-2, tried to get 2 centre forwards in box, try and get somebody to satellite round the big lad who'd not really had a sniff. McGuinness and Iofer had dealt with him all day. That Smith, who were probably their best player, he jinxed out left hand side. I don't know who's meant to be picking up. It ends up Byers beating nearest man, but he just gets back outside of him, clips one in, and it's ex-Wednesday lad Sam Winnell gets in front of Iofer. It's actually a really, really good header. I think Iofer will probably get some blame for it, but earlier in the season, I think he was genuinely losing his man. On this occasion, he's lost his man, but I think you've got to give credit. It's a great diving header. I might just be saying that because I'm a slight bit biased because I love diving headers full stop. When they're gone from game, I think we'll all miss them more. Love a diving header. And it is a great diving head. It's a great cross, great head, and it's a good goal from them. Upsetting for Wednesday because before that they defended really well, right across that back line. But it just shows you if you switch off for a second, people can always get back in game. We get a penalty, and it's a corner. Ball comes in. There's a bit of grappling with I think it might be Osalaja and Patterson. But it's no. I don't think that you don't see 100 times a game, because every single corner and set piece in box, they're all at it all the time. But what Patterson does is he makes sure ref knows about it by doing full, Tom Daly in there, and I thought they might let him have it actually, but the fact that they didn't actually shows me that they were taking games seriously. Even at 3-1, it weren't a case of you've won it, you have it. It was like, right, these are our set penalty takers. That's how we're going to do it. So Gregory stepped up for a challenge. Confident penalty, absolutely creamed it. Keeper had absolutely no chance of it. He's completely sent it the wrong way, but it crashes back off at bar and and it's a shame, because I think it would have put a nicer gloss on result, because despite this result, folks are still looking to, it's not really good enough, conceded 2, we scored 4. I mean, I look back at them years when we got up and we got no money, and Stuart Gray was scrabbling about for free transfers, and we were defensively solid, but that first year he was in charge, we didn't really do much attacking, and it was hard to watch. We scored in goals this time, but folks still don't seem to be enjoying it. I don't know, we played some decent stuff. So I would have liked us to have got 5, just to put that bit more gloss on it, and just maybe cheer everybody up a bit, for fuck's sake. They get another one back. It's a disappointing one. Ball in. This is the thing when you make subs in it, who's picking up who in certain situations, and that's always going to be ironed out, because ball comes in and it's Hamer, the right back, and he's come in and then he's sort of gone back out, and he's ended up on blindsided George Byers, who can't get up there from cross. It's a looping header, and I'm probably going to say this twice in a fortnight. I think Stockdale's probably got to do a bit better there for me. I don't know if he thinks it's going wide, but he's a bit rooted for me there. It's sort of one that even if it is going wide, you'll usually see keepers do full spring anyway, even if they, any doubt at all. But he was set back a bit. I don't wonder if he were worried about hitting face against post or something. But a sloppy goal. The first goal, I don't mind so much. I give credit to Burton for their first goal. Good wing play, tricky feet, good cross, great diving header. So I give him credit for that. The second goal, from Wednesday's point of view, really disappointed, because this is a free header, a looping header, and that, we can do better. All ends up with that. But overall, 4-2. Not a fantastic game of football, but entertaining. Not as entertaining as Ipswich and Charlton at Valley, by the sounds of it, but plenty of goals. And that's what you pay to go and see, innit? Goals. So, yeah, Ipswich pegged back. Another win for Wednesday. I did read tonight, though, I don't know where it were, I don't know if it were on Owlstalk or Twitter or whatever it were, but I did read tonight that it's too late for Wednesday. Somebody said Plymouth and Ipswich are already up, we've left it too late. I'm like, right, but it's October. How far behind are we now? Let's have a look. Plymouth top, 38 points, 32 goals, 17 against. Ipswich Town 4-4 today with Charlton Athletic, 3 goals in injury time. I think, was it 99th minute Charlton got final equaliser, and Wednesday they're 3rd place, another win. plus 17 goal difference, 34 points, so we're just 3 points behind Ipswich and just 4 points behind Plymouth Argyle, although they've got the game in hand. So we're really well placed there. I'd hardly said that Argyle and Ipswich are already too far ahead in seasons, have I? Yeah, so we're well placed there. I don't think there's any need for panic at this stage, is there? Played a different system. 4-3-3 with an holding player, 2 inside-out wingers, getting inside and joining it centre forward. I thought it worked well. It weren't as crisp and clean as it might be, but you know, when you make 4 or 5 changes, it's not going to have the same flow as a team that, you know, has played together for a number of games on spin. So different formation, different personnel, but I think it proved that it worked. I think it's something we can use again, and once players get used to it and used to playing with, you know, different people, I can say us doing that again, and I quite liked it. Got a week off in our league though. We've got a FA Cup against Morecambe on Friday, and then we've got League Cup game against Southampton. That should be an interesting one, Premier League team. So a chance for us to just take his minds off league a bit and maybe just let everybody simmer down a little bit, enjoy a couple of cup games, not to lose, and then get back to business after that. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend if you can. I know we're very miserable at the minute. I don't know why. But try and enjoy your weekend. See you later.